Alright, so we're about to do a payload Borneo map review. This should be pretty quick and easy. Don't want to keep anyone longer than we have to. Um, but, as usual, on payload maps, you need to follow the principles that we've talked about as a team. Offense means put pressure on the other team. They still spawn slower than us on red if we're on blue. And defense means don't die, because again, red spawns slower. Every payload map is like this. There's a couple of places in Borneo where this might be considered an exception, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. But as a general rule of thumb, if you're on blue, continuously put pressure on red team to force them to lose ground. Now, we'll talk about offense first, and then we'll talk about defense on this map. So, for the offense, typically you want to react to whatever it is their combo is doing. And by that I mean, let's say their combo is standing over here by the house. If their combo's by the house and the sentry's up here, which is the meta, and that's usually what's going to happen, then you should respond by moving your combo near the house. And by that I mean, when you spawn out of blue, you go out of the right spawn. Make sure to check for stickies. Demos love putting stickies on this door and on this tree. A lot of people will check the door and then neglect the tree. And then again on this ramp. So there's 3 potential places for stickies. Also, while you're rolling out his combo, spies love this area because there's a lot of places to stand, including this sign, including in corners, crouched behind here. There's a lot of different places for a spy to be on on first defense. So combo, be wary when you roll out on the right side.
Including on top of the shack.
Including, exactly, on top of the shack. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. But anyway, basically, in the events that it's the meta, the combo is basically the most exposed in their rollout on first. After you get past the rollout, which is something you're striving to do, ultimately you want to get through the rollout area and this hill as quickly as possible when they're holding meta. And then once you get past, then you can go ahead and spam the combo directly or the sentry. Other things to watch out for, especially when rounding this corner and peeking this hill, are the sniper. The sniper is going to probably stand back there by the tree. But if you get an early sniper pick or an early demo pick, then you basically get this ground for free, as long as your pyro is very wary of the spy. It should be easy. Another thing people neglect often on this point is that once you get past this hill and you're spamming their combo from here, you're still not out of the woods with the spy, because the spy can literally just be waiting underneath the bridge here, uncloak, and then you're right in front of him around the corner, without even being able to really check for him if your pyro's checking on the hill still. So keep those things in mind, and first push from the meta should be easy. Now, when things get tricky is when the combo is standing on the far left side in this smaller shack here. If their combo is in shack, as soon as your combo rolls out on the far right over this hill, what's going to happen is they can just stand over there near the shack, and they can spam sideways onto you, while there is also whatever the heck is in front of you. So let's say their demo is over by the shack. If their demo's over by the shack, then you're susceptible to the sniper in front of you, the heavy in front of you coming down from there, and of course the spy from behind. It's basically an attack from all angles. Now, this could be disadvantageous for their demo or their combo because they're out in the open when they push through shack. So keep that in mind when you're in the fight. Try to stay out of the spam areas and try to take advantage of the fact that they're wide open, so it's easy to hit them from different angles. However, typically, and in most maps this also applies, typically what you can do to counter where the combo standing is to just push where the combo is standing on defense. Again, they spawn slower, so if your team is putting pressure on where their team is standing, over time you definitely will push them back Just be careful, especially walking next to the shack. This is a big choke. Medics can die easily to this, especially if a soldier's waiting inside.
Also notable is that if you're pushing shack, spies can stand on this rock up here.
Yes, spies can also stand on that rock. So another thing to notice. Although also notice that this side of the field has significantly less areas for a spy to come and stab you from, just because it's more open, so it's easier to catch a spy out. But definitely the elevation on this rock is something to keep in mind. Alright, so that's pushing first point. Defending first point is pretty simple and pretty similar, except in the reverse. You're typically going to want your flank to stand in the shack because it's a nice mobile area. There's a half health pack and a full ammo pack right there for you. And that means that your flank can be pretty self-sustaining. This also means that your demo can be pretty self-sustaining over here with your flank if you feel like you need the manpower. For our team, this weekend, I really want to try experimenting with having the demo over here because we haven't done it with Right yet, and I think it could be very beneficial for us. But once the flank loses the shack, here's something that we don't tend to do and that we can do. Flank can also take advantage of this area back here because they have another half health pack, another full ammo pack, and they have these rocks as cover. A scout can easily maneuver around the rocks, and a soldier can do so as well. And if their combo is deciding to push next to the shack, then the soldier and the scout can shoot down from on top of that rock. Spy can also help the flank by using all the angles near the shack. But flank, try and back out before you die from shack so that you have another position on the rocks. Because shack hold for flank is honestly kind of 2 times an effective hold. Even if you're like a little lit, you can back off behind these rocks, you have cover from this large rock, and you can go ahead and restock on ammo and health before you go back into the fight. So keep in mind that you really just don't want to die on defense, especially on flank. Leaving the flank open is a big mistake on this map. Now, combo, typically you're going to want to hold, or the remaining combo, because the demo is typically going to be over with the flank. The remaining combo will hold up here. Now, some engineers like the sentry on this corner. Some engineers like the sentry in here. Some engies put it forward here. Wherever the sentry placement is, that's pretty much where you don't want your heavy too far ahead of the sentry placement. The reason being is that snipers can really make a heavy have a really bad time, and losing the heavy on first is actually critical, especially when they're pushing in. When the other team is pushing into you, especially with Uber, and you're stuck in this house, one of the most effective Ubers you can have isn't on the pyro, like on most maps, but on the heavy. The heavy can body block more effectively, and he can also try and push them back as he gets some picks on the non-flashed players. And pyro really isn't going to do a good job of stuffing, especially if they're this close to your sentry or they already rounded the corner. So focus Ubers on the heavy. Make sure the heavy is standing near the sentry most of the time, and the pyro can just be rotating as a pybro, helping the engineer out, helping keep his buildings up, and rotating over to help the sniper as well. Speaking of the sniper, he'll typically be standing by this tree so that he can get easy cover if he needs to, or he can rotate to the rock, or he needs ammo or health back here. There's a lot of really good angles all the way from back here, or from where I believe this is high on. Yeah, nice, unusual. Or from where Hion's standing right now, there's some angles as well. Either way, sniper's gonna watch angles back here, so it just makes sense that he has he has a lot of cushions, so that nothing runs into him. Basically, the heavy and the sentry are right there, so the sniper can run back behind them. The pyro's rotating around, so the spy doesn't get him, although that doesn't give the sniper an excuse to not listen. And the flank and the demo are up near the shack, so that nothing can flank around and get the sniper. Basically, first hold for red team on Borneo is a giant cocoon that envelops the sniper and makes him feel warm and fuzzy, and allows for your team to keep as much space between you and the other team as possible. Space is your friend on first hold. As soon as their team is up in your face, you're going to have a hard time keeping your sentry up and keeping your combo up. So make sure that you're watching your space. If the demo chooses not to go with flank, this hill is a really good place to spam from, but again, this is a little dangerous because right from main, their sniper can shoot at you. So be careful. Be careful with that sniper sight line out of main when you're defending, and make sure you're spamming areas and keeping your sniper safe on first point. Now, let's say the capture first. This is one of the few instances in which you might not want to constantly apply pressure to the other team, and that's only when you're at a player disadvantage. Now, on most other payload maps, even player disadvantages shouldn't stop you from pushing forward, but pushing into second as the blue team, if you are missing a lot of players, there's no way you're going to make the push because their spawn is significantly closer than yours. Red team spawns right here and can literally just walk out onto second point, whereas your team spawns all the way back at the beginning of the map. This is a huge detriment to blue team. Teleporters help, but honestly not that much. The most important thing is to move together. If you're moving alone and dying, this push is going to be very difficult. Now, this point is very centered around where their sentry is. There's two main sentry spots for this point. Back here near the med pack and up by I believe it's called corn because of the sign, but up on this wooden platform in the house. Now, if, let's say, and both are equally as meta. I've seen teams use both areas consistently for many seasons now. It doesn't seem like that's going to be something that's going to change, so be ready to deal with both holds. If they're holding in wood, one of the worst things you can do is send a trickle of players in to push the sentry, or not the sentry, the cart. The reason is a sentry and their combo is standing right in there, and if you're sending one player in to push the cart, the sentry and the combo is just gonna kill that player, and thus putting you, and thus you will be put at a player disadvantage, which will mean that you won't be able to push as effectively. What you want to do instead is, because you're not going to receive sentry fire for a while, try and get an early pick on the enemy sniper. This will open up this entire ramp area for your team to stand in because no sniper will be able to look down at the sights. Their combo will be pushed back into the far house over here because that's just the meta for this hold. And with their combo so far the way and their sniper so far the way, your combo can literally just push out onto the ramp, destroy their sentry, and push the cart on the second point. It's a very, very easy push, but few teams realize that that's really the trick to pushing when the combo is holding in-house. Again, the steps are kill the sniper, and then basically just take ground. That's really all you have to do. Yeah. Now, in the event the sentry's in the other place, if the sentry is back a little more reserved, back here by the health pack, your combo should be pushing through house. The reason being is that the sniper pick is going to be significantly harder with the pyro and perhaps even some of the combo rotating around that sentry and rotating around that sniper from back here. Your spy won't be able to get him at him as effectively, and in addition, other players won't be able to walk up to him as effectively because of the sentry fire. So you're going to want to move your combo through house to avoid the sniper sightline and cross this quickly. Make sure either the sniper is down or the sniper is not watching to cross so that he doesn't kill anyone. Cross in groups either way to be safe, so that not everyone dies, and move your combo in through house. Now, moving your combo in through house means that it's a combo versus combo fight. Not to worry though, their combo is actually more susceptible to blast damage when they're watching in house. So lead with your demo, use a lot of spam in the house area while their combo is standing there. You should be able to get a pick or two off their combo and then move your heavy into cleanup. That's how you should push house every time. If you lead with your heavy, he's just going to die from the heavy on high ground above him and the demo spamming down on him. If you lead with your pyro, he's just going to die again from the heavy on high ground above him. Pushing into house means you have to lead with your demo, and you have to understand that you need to spam the areas they're standing on. This should allow you to take this ground and flank around behind house, and you will literally be across the way from their sentry ready to spam it out. While this is happening, their combos should be distracted in house, and your flank can actually take the cart most of the way up this hill. It's all about persistence on the cart on second point. If you don't get that cart time early on, even if you kill their entire team, their spawn is just so much closer than you that their team is going to spawn and they're going to rebuild. And you're going to end up losing players. Make sure you continue to push the cart forward. If the combo's making a move, flank should be on cart. And if the combo's on the cart because we've decided to push from the ramp, flank should be trying to make progress elsewhere. But never waste your time. Make sure you're always trying to get that pick, always trying to get that ground on second point, because it can be a real stalemate. Second point is one of the more powerful points on Borneo. Now, once you capture I should talk about defense on second.
One more thing notably on second is that despite the fact that sending players into trickle against the sentry is kind of a bad idea generally, it is also very susceptible to bonk scouts and spies. This is not a rollback. None of this is a rollback. You can just tap the card in one life at a time if it gets to be that bad.
Yeah, tapping the card in, that's another thing. And that goes along with the whole persistence idea. If you have persistence in pushing the card up the hill, over time, even if your team is having trouble with the other team in terms of DM or positioning or whatever it might be, you will get that card in. It's all about persistence and not allowing the cart to roll back. Again, this isn't a hill that automatically rolls you back, so you have plenty of time to keep the cart going. Now, talking about defending, we already talked about the sentry spots. So let's talk about where the combo can stand. Now, combo will almost always be standing in house. And something that a lot of combos will neglect is that they'll be watching this flank area of the house. I guess it's technically not a flank area because flank never really goes there, but this area of the house is where the combo will be watching, and they neglect the cart on ramp. Once again, just like we said, that's not a rollback area on the ramp, so your combo has to be on top of that. A lot of teams on offense are going to trickle their players in on this ramp. Don't allow them to do that. Either rotate your demo or your heavy over to deal with that and then continue to defend. However, you can't rotate both of your players over. Your demo or your heavy must always be watching this opening. Someone has to be watching this opening, because if not, their combo's literally just going to walk in for free. You don't want them to walk in for free. Well, of course you don't. That's common sense. Another thing to note about the hold in house for combo is that this is a beautiful area for spies. So many spies get away with so much shit in this house. Just have clear spy comms and keep the pyro informed. Right there, literally right there, a spy will decloak, come in, and backstab you, and it's just immediate. Right there on the crates, another area. It's really close to where your combo stands all the time anyway. Right here behind this crate, it's really close to where your combo's going to hold either way. So just be aware and keep the comms clear, and all on those barrels, of course, especially if you have an NG up here. Don't ignore the barrels. It's very easy to just be focused on the ramp. I've seen a lot of engineers fall for that one personally. So again, house is a good place for spies. Combo, just have clear comms. And guess what? Everyone in the combo doesn't have to chase the spy. In fact, no one has to chase the spy. Just make sure you're calling him and you know where he is and when he's there, and you'll be just fine. Now, let's say they push you out of house. They straight up just push you out of house. If your sentry's in house, well, tough luck. You were pushed out of your hold. Make sure you back off with enough time. If you have enough players alive, you can start watching by this health pack and that would be suitable because they'll be across the way from you and can spam down on them. Otherwise, go ahead and start backing out if that was your entire hold. If it wasn't and your sentry's held back here, then the combo can go ahead and retreat from house a little bit, and as they're coming out, look back. This entire exit to the house as their combo's coming out is a giant choke point. Make use of this. A lot of people will die if you're paying attention to where the chokes are on the map as they follow you out. That's another spy spot up there. Spy can just drop down from up there. But anyway,
We found some sticky spots that are interesting.
either way, combo doesn't have to give it up right away. But again, if you feel like you're dying, if you feel like you don't have enough players up, even if you feel like you're too lit to continue the hold, go ahead and back up, because there's another area that can really help your engineer build for this next point. We'll go out ahead and talk about changing from defense second to defense third, because that's something that every team has problems with. Defense second to defense third immediately moves your spawn back from the defensive team, and it doesn't just move your spawn back 1 point, it moves it back all the way to the beginning of the map, which once we get there you'll see exactly how far away that is for every player. So you need a lot of time to get your engineer set up. If you've played your cards right on second and you were able to get enough people out, your combo can watch up here on wood passively. What I mean by passively is you're getting ready to get out, but you can watch from up here, spam down into that area, spam down onto the team as they come in. And if you feel like you're getting too lit, there's a health pack here. If you can't reach the health pack, you can always back off to your ramp as a combo member. It's really just one jump away, and you should be able to make it. However, this wood hold will buy your Engie invaluable time. The only things to be careful about is if their team is chasing you out of second, just know where they are. Again, have clean comms and keep an eye on them. You shouldn't be able to be spammed out. You have the high ground, and every entrance their team can possibly take is a choke. So, for the meantime, this is a great, effective mini hold for your Engie to set up. Now, what your Engie needs to set up on third is a sentry, usually somewhere up here. Sometimes the sentry is down here. It depends on the preference of the Engie and how the team is playing at the time. But the Engie needs a sentry, he needs a dispenser as quickly as possible, usually right here, and a teleporter, usually right here, or sometimes up here even, sometimes in this corner. Teleporter can go in a variety of places. So the Engie has to set up all three of those buildings from a hard reset on second, because it's quite a run back from second, and especially if he dies, it'll be a run back up from last. That being said, teleporters are going to be hard to get to here. So I would suggest, even as someone who formerly played Engie, I would suggest just putting the teleporter down first if your team has the time to hold their team off. Otherwise, go ahead and quickly set up the dispenser. The dispenser is going to be what your team needs to fall back on, and then the sentry. Dispenser, sentry, teleporter, unless you have the time, in which case if you have the time, do teleporter, sentry, dispenser. The reason why you change it up if you have the time is because if your team dies, but you have a teleporter, you're going to have a much easier time coming back into this hold. Their team is kind of far away from this point as well, so take advantage of the fact that your team has a teleporter and their team probably doesn't and hasn't reset yet, to be able to build your teleporter, then your sentry to set up your defense, and then your dispenser. Otherwise, dispenser, sentry, teleporter. So, one more time, just so that doesn't get confused. If your team has a good hold on wood, engineer, prioritize the teleporter, then the sentry, and then the dispenser. So I'll say that more clearly. Teleporter, sentry, dispenser if they have a good hold. If they have a bad hold, then dispenser, sentry, teleporter. your team just needs the dispenser because they will be backing out and they will need to somehow stop the momentum of the other team. The best way to do that is for the combo to come back into this right area and to spam into this ramp. Their combo's probably going to be pushing in from this ramp. So you're going to want to have your combo here, spamming this choke area, and a dispenser here would help them greatly. I just mentioned where the combo stands typically. This side, things to watch out for are the sniper. Spy, actually, I haven't seen a very effective spy on this point. Maybe it's just me, but this isn't much of a spy point. There is some good elevation for the spy to get some backstabs on a medic or an engineer every once in a while, but if you're careful, it really shouldn't be a problem. The key to this point and not getting backstabbed is awareness. On other points, there's a little bit of iffy elevation that makes it a lot harder to deal with the spy. On this point, if you're aware enough, you should be able to deal with the spy quite effectively.
The main ways that a spy is ever going to get in is if your flank stops being able to hold left side all the way, then the spy will have an easy route in to get out and decloak on your sentry. Or if your combo pushes up too much while they're trying to deal with their combo, the spy can decloak either behind there or behind here, or if your combo is holding the bottom of stairs around this corner. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for a spy to get in as long as your combo is holding like around stair area and your flank's holding around that stair area.
Okay, yeah, good. That's exactly right. So that goes right into flank hold. This stair area on the far left is a great place for flank. There's a lot of elevation. Again, there's a small health pack here, so you can't be as risky as you would on, say, first or second hold. But there's a lot of elevation for you, and your movement should be able to aid you in dealing with this. There's also a lot of layers and a lot of different routes. So learn the left side really well at this point. Combo learn the right side at this point really well. And door is mostly going to be the big hazard here when you're holding, because what's going to see you from door is a sniper. A sniper standing in door can see basically everywhere. This is extremely dangerous. The important things to deal with that are to either have your defending spy deal with him directly, or just have a good counter sniper standing somewhere back here to deal with him. Now pushing into this point, pushing into this point is a little tricky. Second, third, fourth, basically every point except for first is pretty tricky to push into. There's a lot of ways that you can get caught up on the small stuff. A lot of combos just love pushing out of left side over and over and over again. Here's what I don't like about that. While that's the meta, and if you have an Uber, you're going to be right up close to their sentry in their combo, which is great. It allows you to get spammed out really hard. And even if you have an Uber, you're going to have to flash a lot to make sure nobody dies on the push-in. If you're taking the whole combo as that is. So, I personally just like taking the sniper out early. And then their main is open. And then I can just push the combo in main with the cart. While you are going to get spammed down from above, if you're pushing your demo man in, demo man has an advantage shooting from below the other team. So that's a lot of good spam on their combo with your demo man, and then the heavy can pick off anyone who decides to jump down onto your combo. This is actually, I believe, a more effective push than the traditional push through the left side. Also, everyone fucking expects your combo to push from the left side, so by the time you get here, they're gonna be holding the left side. The med goes with the combo on offense, of course. Either way, so pushing in from main might not be a bad idea, especially if their sniper's down. In fact, if their sniper's down and your cart is up to the door of garage, go ahead and push in main. Try it out. you will be surprised. We're definitely gonna try it as a team, and anyone else who's watching this should try it themselves because it works. It does work a lot of the time. Just make sure you have your team up and your flank ready to push in while your combo's putting that pressure. Flank, of course, they're trying to make a route around the right side. Sometimes this can be a little hard because they're approaching it from bottom ground. Just remember, flank, you have your own small health and small ammo right here. And then once you take the grounds, then it's easy to spam out the sentry or to rotate around and spam out the combo from down here. But, you know, flank doesn't need to do that. Again, if the whole team pushes through main, the flank can get in through main pretty easily and then combat their flank from behind right here if they get to these stairs. That's another viable option. But really, this point, a lot of people focus a lot on the sentry. The sentry is not going to be that big of a threat. It's above you, which means that it's super susceptible to demo spam. The big threat here is going to be their sniper. So take out the sniper and push into third. It's something that a lot of teams overlook because they're so focused on taking out their medic or their combo or whatever. If their combo dies, but their sniper's still up and their sentry's still up, even if you push all the way into third, their other players can still take out your combo. The space is too small, and there's a lot of easily spammed areas. So make sure you take care of that sniper, and your push should be really easy. In fact, taking care of that sniper allows your sniper even to destroy the sentry for free. So keep that in mind, and just play around the defensive sniper. Now let's go on and say you push them out of third effectively, you killed enough of them, and you can get out now. Well, some teams like to set up right out of this tunnel, right outside of this tunnel. If they do that, something to note is that if their combo's up and in front of the tunnel, don't push out of the fucking tunnel. They're literally just gonna look down on you and shit on you. Flank around. You have a closer spawn now. Your team, now that you've captured this point up here, spawns back here. So go ahead and take your time, flank around, and you can get a lot of ground on them this way. Again, the danger here is the sniper because he has crazy sight lines, but really if you're playing around the defending sniper, pushing out of third and pushing onto third, you should have no problem taking this point and taking this ground. Defending, however, this outside area, I mean, it's basically the same thing, but backwards. You have your sentry is probably going to be built last, actually, because you want your last hold to be very strong now that they've captured third. And while the engineer's doing that, you can just have your combo sitting up here in front of this choke, and maybe your demo even back here, watching this choke from this angle, and then if they get too close, you can just press W a little bit, spam out, and then go back into this corner. And then you have your demo and your flank watching this this flank route to make sure they can't get past. And your sniper, of course, he's taking advantage of the big sight line here, back here all the way back into there, which also looks down into the tunnel. Look at this sight line. It's actually remarkable. So take advantage of those things, and you can defend this area very easily. Sometimes the engineer might not bring a sentry all the way back. That's fine too. Putting the sentry up here on this, I guess, ramp kind of thing, that works a lot of the time, and it can really mess up a team. Or putting the sentry back here in this corner where the demo might stand also works. Just keeping those areas in mind to use if the situation comes up. Now let's talk about pushing last. Pushing last can be a pain in the ass on this map, and it's one of those persistent things again. This is the only map I feel like where the last plays really similarly to how the second plays. If you allow it to be a chore to push the cart, you're never going to get the cart in. Same goes for second on this map. So make sure you have that persistence to continue to tap the cart. It never goes back. And past these two cinder, are they cinder? These metal things? I don't know what they're called. Once the cart gets past that, you can basically just inch it in with the scout or a spy to secure the victory. Now, combo typically likes to push from the left side when we're pushing. this is fine, except the sniper watches down on you, the demo can spam you out, the heavy's gonna hit you as soon as you round the corner, and the entire flank can see you from the other side. So this push is fucking retarded, and I hate it, and I don't know why teams do it. Really only ever do it if you need to get close to them fast, and by that I mean their fucking sniper and demo are down and you just want to take out the sentry, so you walk down this hallway and you use Uber on it immediately. That's really the only circumstance in which this push is acceptable and easy. Almost every other time your whole combo is just gonna fucking die. You're all just gonna die. So there aren't that many good places to push on last. What you need to do to secure this point is kill the sniper, because that allows you to push into the left. And the left side is pretty valuable, again, because it gives you the ground onto their sentry. So kill the sniper first. Either do that with your spy, do that with your flanking around, do that with whatever you need to do that with your sniper, counter sniping. Kill the sniper. Okay, once the sniper's dead, kill the fucking NG or the sentry, whatever. Kill one of those two. You get this point for free after that. After that, big targets are the demo, and that's pretty much it. Heavy, he's not going to do that much. He really isn't. Just remember where he is and spam him out appropriately, because really wherever the heavy can stand is pretty wide in the open. If the heavy's here, he's wide in the open while your demo is behind this metal sheet, which allows your demo to spam the heavy for free. If the heavy is up here, your heavy's wide in the open, or the heavy's wide in the open and susceptible to the sniper just peeking him from main. If the heavy's over on the flank area, he can just die from spam from the soldier and again the sniper from main. Heavy's not a big problem, but the demo definitely is. He can spam all of the choke points where you're going to push him from. So, sniper, NG, demo is my priority list for pushing into this last. And then anything else is just, you know, cherry on the top of the ice cream. I don't know. I don't know the phrase. But
Gravy works.
Gravy. Anyway, I'm really hungry. But that's beside that's beside the point. That's the essence of pushing into last. Thank you, music. That's the essence of pushing into last. Now, again, sniper sightline through main right here. It's really big, really huge. The only downside is, of course, their sniper can see you because it's really big, really huge. So, you know, keep in mind where the sniper is, what the sniper's watching. And flank, of course, pushes in from this area, which is just called flank for that reason. Flank always pushes there. Also, things about the cart. Let's say you get the cart past this point, so it's past the tunnel entrance, or it's on the tunnel entrance. Your scout can come in, like if your scout can come in from the right side and then get on the cart in a matter of seconds to tap it. Just be careful with the sentry, especially if the sentry's on. Bonking onto the sentry, or bonking onto the cart works, and bonking the sentry to distract it also works. Now let's talk about defense on this. Of course, you want your combo fluid, and by that I mean stop their combo wherever their combo stands. So if their combo stands main, you want your demo and your heavy spamming on main. If their combo stands out of their left, your right, you want your combo rotating right and spamming out there. And if their combo decides to push the flank, you want your combo standing on the flank. Make sure the combo comms are clear so that you know what's going on. And if your flank is down while you're defending, make sure you have, I don't know, I would rotate the heavy over to deal with flank side, to take down the scout and the soldier while the demo continues to watch the right side. That's just what I would personally prefer, but there's other ways of dealing with if your flank dies on defense. Just make sure you have people watching it. I mean, some teams, and our team to some extent, can even watch flank just with the sniper and the spy together, so be creative. Make sure your team has a strategy that works for your team in watching that if the flank dies. And last but not least, NG and Pyro. Now the Pyro can be made of use if they're Ubering in from the right side. Pyro can stuff them all the way back and then just leave them in this corridor, and by the time they're done Ubering, the demo can just round the corner and do that, blow them all the fuck up. So Pyro, be wary of Ubers. In fact, if the medic's not counting Ubers or if no one's calling the Ubers, Pyro, you should be doing it in your head so that you know exactly when they're going to push in. And when they do push in, you're ready to blast them back. But aside from blasting them back, your job really is just protecting the sentry, the NG, the medic from spies, soldiers, scouts, whatever might come in and try and threaten them. Your job is to be the Pybro and make sure your team stays alive. Because, again, their spawns are faster, your spawns are slower, yada yada yada, basics of payload mapping. That covers pretty much all of the basics for the Borneo map, pushing, defending, all of the points. Are there any questions?
Offhand, one of our esteemed member has been demonstrating a bunch of sticky trap spots this entire time. How important do you think those actually are?
Sticky trap spots on this map don't do a lot.
They're like
except
all over the
for
place, though.
they are all over the place,
No, there's
and that's
so
why.
many of them.
Yes, okay,
Like,
that
we're
yes,
coming
they're
against.
all over the place, and that's why they don't do a lot, because they're never really consistent. Every demo does something different, and like it's not something you want to review, because then you start ignoring ones that you didn't think about or ones that the demo might have just figured out on his own. There's a lot of corners and nooks and crannies in this map. The important thing to deal with the sticky traps all over the map is just to have your combo be aware, especially during transitions. If you're
Or
going,
send scout forward.
don't send scout forward. He's literally just gonna die. Don't send scout with your combo when you're pushing. That makes no fucking sense. Keep him near the cart. Keep him near the soldier. However, keeping your combo aware will deal with the stickies on its own. Like, whenever you're going through a choke, there's probably going to be stickies, unless the demo's dead. And if the demo didn't put stickies there, it's probably going to be a little further up ahead. So just keeping that sense about you and understanding where the stickies can be, rather than looking at every individual spot, is more helpful than looking at every individual spot. Because it changes from team to team every single time. I have yet to see a demo do the same thing. In fact, in all the demo mains I've had on my teams, they've all done something different with their sticks on Borneo. So don't sweat all the spots. Just use game sense, basically. Remember, if you're pushing into a choke, there's probably stickies there. Anything else?
Should I trick step Pion?
Good trick
You
set.
jumped over me when I'm trying to just walk forward.
Stairs,
Congratulations.
Sam.
Other questions, though?
I have a question.
Yes.
How many teeth do you have?
How many teeth?
Yeah.
1. Next question.
Well, then it's a tooth then.
How large is this tooth?
All right,
I-
so
I
I think
suppose-
that means
Wait,
that
I
we're
have
ready
a
to end the
question.
map. Okay,
No,
what's your
no,
question?
I'm not- just on first, how
Okay.
hard should we be holding the house if we have a demo there, as opposed to if we don't?
If you don't have a demo there, significantly less hard than if you do. Well, I guess I'll respawn near that area, so I'll show you. Okay, so I'm on first now. So let's say you don't have a demo there. You can start off by holding in this house, but especially if they rotate their combo in here, you're just going to get spammed out by their demo. So get as much spam as you can off. If you can get a pick or a force on the medic right off the bat, go for it. You can suicide in as a scout or a soldier to get the force on the medic, but if you don't have an angle, if their heavy's very cautious, if their pyro's very cautious, cut your losses quickly, rotate behind the rocks, because if you don't have a demo with you, the rocks are actually a better hold than the shack for your flank. Because once you're on rocks, you have the elevation on them, and they need to step out into the open, and they'll get spammed by rockets and by the scout finishing off the damage. That's a good question, actually, because we haven't really ever talked about that. If you have a demo here, however, you can feel free to take the liberties to stand. Please stop firing those around me. I don't want to die. You can
trying to
feel
kill
free.
Ultra.
Okay, thank you. But you can feel free to take the liberties to stand. To stand around this area in the house, or to stand around the leftmost side on the house, and standing in those areas will allow you to pick off of the demo's damage, who's probably going to be spamming out of the main area here on the far right side. If the demo does a shit ton of damage down this right area, then you can literally just finish it off with the soldier jumping behind the combo, or scout jumping behind the combo. Or if their combo doesn't even rotate there, you guys can finish off the flank easily that way too. So it's a lot harder of a hold with the demo there than without. Any other questions?
On the second, we've done this a couple of times. How often do you think a combo should actually be forced to push directly up ramp on second as opposed to go through house?
I think that should happen whenever their combo is just not budging out of house, basically. If you just can't move the combo out of house, just push ramp, because that forces their combo to get out of their best position. And typically most teams, they have one position that they're really good at because they practice it a lot, and then the other one is iffy. So it forces them to move into a different position at the very least, even if it's not worse. It allows your combo to try something new, and it stops the cycle. And the cycle, especially with our team, is pushing in the same area and dying over and over and over again. You want to end that as quickly as possible so that you can minimize the amount of time to push the cart to the end of the map. So I say pushing ramp with combo is perfectly fine. I don't really see a big problem with it, besides the sniper sightline, which can be easily taken care of. As long as you're paying attention to the sniper and he's going down regularly, pushing from ramp is fine, especially if their combo's strong in the house. Anything else?
Not offhand.
Okay, well, that ends the map review. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask me or anyone, really. Like, you guys should bounce ideas off each other on this map and experiment in the scrims.
Something about them.
Well, either way, that is it. We're gonna start scrimming Borneo tomorrow. I think I just got a scrim lined up during that map review for 8:30 Eastern, but previously there wasn't one, but I think now there is. So, yeah, thanks.
Where do teams